Okay, let's just dive right in. You know that feeling, right? That little shiver when a door creaks downstairs, or you see something flicker at the edge of your vision?
Oh, absolutely. Or those stories you hear, UFOs, weird creatures people claim to see. It's a deep human thing, isn't it? Wondering about what's just beyond what we normally see.
Exactly. We seem hardwired to be fascinated by the unexplained. But then the question is, how do you even start to make sense of it? Stuff that just doesn't fit our neat little boxes.
Well, that's where things get interesting and sometimes controversial. People look for answers, and sometimes that pushes them right to the edges of known science.
And that's perfect for today's deep dive. We're looking at a researcher, a pretty bold one, who has this, well, some call it fringe science, this theory that connects a lot of these dots.
Right. He thinks he has a unified explanation for ghosts, UFOs, cryptids, the works, and he claims he actually captured some kind of proof recently.
So yeah, our mission today is to really get into this, understand his theory, the science he claims is behind it, and this experiment he did, the one where he thinks he saw, well, into another dimension.
It's definitely a unique perspective. We'll need to look at the science, both established and, let's be honest, the more speculative parts he relies on.
Okay, so the core theory. Let's unpack that first. He's basically saying most paranormal stuff, it's not separate weird events.
No, he argues it's all connected. It's all, in his words, a temporary glimpse into another dimension.
Think about that. Ghosts in a house, a UFO zipping by, Bigfoot sightings, even alien abductions. He's saying it's all just peeking through the veil, essentially.
It's a huge umbrella theory, and he grounds it, interestingly, in quantum mechanics.
He does. He talks about our world being sandwiched between other dimensions. Like they're all around us, but usually invisible. Right?
Exactly. He says they could be like mirror worlds, or maybe totally different, much stranger places. And he's very firm on the quantum aspect.
Yeah, he says quantum mechanics explains this and allows for and relies on the fact that we are just one of many dimensions. He even says that part isn't even up for debate, which is quite a statement.
It is. Now, quantum mechanics does explore possibilities like the multiverse in some interpretations, very theoretical stuff, but translating that directly to, say, seeing a ghost because a barrier thinned, well, that's a major leap.
Right. It's not exactly textbook physics, is it?
Right.
How does he bridge that gap in his explanation?
He doesn't really offer a standard scientific bridge in the material we looked at. He presents it more as a direct consequence. This is where, you see why it's called fringe. It requires accepting his premise.
Okay, so accepting that premise for a moment, he then talks about natural ways these dimensions might interact.
Yes. He points to cosmology, specifically an image of the cosmic microwave background radiation.
The echo of the Big Bang.
Right. He claims it shows where our universe has bumped into another, leaving an imprint. He argues this kind of thing happens all the time.
How solid is that interpretation, though, versus, other explanations for patterns in the CMB?
Well, there are highly speculative models in cosmology that consider universe collisions, but it's far from mainstream consensus. Most astrophysicists would attribute those CMB anomalies to early universe physics or known phenomena. He's picking a very specific fringe interpretation.
Gotcha. So connecting cosmic theories to his idea, then he brings it down to Earth. Haunted houses.
He believes haunted houses are places where this barrier between dimensions is just thinner, naturally thin.
Like a weak spot.
Yeah, exactly. A continual glimpse into another world because of this very, very, very thin barrier, as he puts it.
And he connects it to UFOs, too, especially around nuclear test sites.
Right. He says it's not a coincidence. He thinks the massive energy expenditure from a nuclear blast could actually cause that barrier between universes to be broken, temporarily at least.
So immense energy could basically rip a hole, allowing a glimpse.
That's the idea. And he even speculates, which is interesting, that maybe different types of energy may expose different types of universes, like tuning into different channels.
Which leads to his view on aliens. If this is all true, then aliens aren't from Alpha Centauri.
No. He thinks they're not coming from somewhere else far away in the galaxy. They're much closer. They're from right next door in a universe very near ours. Interdimensional neighbors, not interstellar travelers.
Wow. Okay. So that's the theory. Quite something. Now, how did he try to test this, the experiment?
Well, he built equipment specifically designed to break down that barrier as well, just temporarily. He wasn't trying to open a permanent door, just peek through.
And the method? It involves sound. He says it focuses sound and creates a harmonic effect that warps spacetime in a very, very specific way. Warping spacetime with sound. How does that work conceptually?
It's definitely not the general relativity kind of warping from gravity like a black hole. It sounds more like he's theorizing about creating a highly localized vibration or ripple in reality using specific sound frequencies.
Like using sound waves to make the barrier resonate and become permeable for a moment.
Perhaps. That seems to be the implication. A sonic force disrupting this dimensional barrier. He also mentions using a bunch of different recording devices to peek through that barrier.
And he claims he's had some success before this latest incident.
He says he's gotten pretty great results in the past, yeah, though the source material doesn't detail what those were, unfortunately.
Okay, so that sets the stage for the big one, the Sunday night experiment. This time was different.
Very different, according to him. He said the gear seemed to react way, way, way differently.
I guess so.
Well, initially, he thought something broke. One of his speakers started sparking and seemed to arc electricity. He shut it all down pretty fast, thinking it was a short circuit.
Makes sense. Arcing electricity usually means bad news for equipment.
Right, but here's the kicker. He checked the speaker afterwards, and it was totally working fine. No damage, no short.
Huh. So the sparks
Mm-hmm.
weren't sparks from a malfunction.
That's what he concluded. He started thinking maybe that flash, that energy discharge, was actually part of the phenomenon itself, part of the barrier breaking down, maybe.
And this is where the footage comes in, the proof.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He reviewed the video recordings, saw a bright flash, which tracks with the arcing he saw, but then he slowed it right down,
Frame by frame.
frame by frame. And that's when he saw it. He describes it as a person, or more specifically, an arm.
An arm. Just an arm.
Apparently. And he stresses, you can see it's solid. He's adamant it wasn't like a ghostly image. It looked physically real.
So his conclusion from this millisecond event,
His conclusion is pretty direct. He believes he actually broke through that barrier between universes for like a millisecond, and I actually saw someone on the other side. He thinks the system worked maybe even better than planned.
wow. A millisecond glimpse of a solid arm from another dimension. That's a lot of hang on such a brief image.
It is. It's incredibly provocative, but you can see why traditional science would demand much, much more, right? Still, the impact on him and his partner was immediate.
He called his partner right away.
Oh, yeah, excitedly. Showed him the footage. And the partner's reaction was apparently things like, is that a human arm? And just, that's crazy. Clearly taken aback.
And they started brainstorming right away. Like, what did they do differently?
Yeah, they were talking about variables. Was it the time of night? Around 8:30 p.m.? Does that matter? The partner apparently commented, it's going to take forever to figure out what we did different.
And there was that funny bit about real life intruding.
Right. The partner's wife and kids came home mid-conversation, and he had to pause the potential interdimensional breakthrough discussion to give his kids 2 Oreos.
Keeps you grounded, I suppose. Snack time waits for no dimensional rift.
Indeed. But the researcher was really focused on validation. He apparently urged his partner, show your wife, show her right now. He wanted that immediate confirmation that they weren't just, wasting our time on this.
You can feel the urgency there, the need to know if this is real. So what's next for them?
Reproduce it. That's the main goal. He wants to run the experiment again, replicate the conditions as best they can.
But with one key difference.
Yes. He said next time, he plans not to shut the speakers down that quickly. He wants to try and keep that open for as long as possible.
To get a better look, more footage.
Exactly. So the cameras can actually get a better look, more than just a millisecond flash of an arm. Of course, deliberately holding open a potential dimensional rift. Well, that raises its own set of questions.
You think? Wow. And he's asking for help.
Yeah, he put out a call to his audience, asking for questions, comments, shares, advice. He genuinely believes he's onto something amazing and feels that the more eyes that we get on this thing, the better. A kind of crowdsourced investigation, almost.
So wrapping this up,
Mm-hmm.
it's quite a journey. We've gone from this grand unifying theory about paranormal stuff being dimensional glimpses
Rooted in his interpretation of quantum mechanics and cosmology.
to a specific experiment using sound to supposedly warp spacetime.
Culminating in this tantalizing, maybe frustratingly brief video clip of what he claims is a solid arm from another reality.
It definitely makes you pause and think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's a massive if, obviously, but if something like this is possible, What does it mean about reality?
It challenges everything, really. Our neat separation between here and somewhere else. The idea that other realities might not just be theoretical, but actually physically accessible, even accidentally. That's profound.
It really is. And it leaves you with this thought. If a modified sound system could potentially, just maybe, offer even a 1 millisecond window somewhere else,
Yeah.
what is actually just beyond our senses? And maybe more pointedly, what happens if we try to hold that window open just a little bit longer? What might look back?